guys, or two of the top two guys in Asian pool, and before the match began, we had a word with both of them.
ALOYSIUS, do you want to have a look?
Both were very positive in what they told us. And I think they'll be very positive about that lag as well. Wow, that is so close. In fact, Ben Taylor Fuente could not make a determination as to who had won the lag, so this is a first for me, certainly. They're lagging again. Oh, that was also close, but there was a clear winner. ALOYSIUS YAPP gets to break.
Thank you, the first rack. ALOYSIUS, yeah, to break.
So this is the established star up against the up-and-comer. YAPP has to be made a favourite, of course, considering his recent accomplishments, his general CV, and also I think the way he played in the first round compared with MANAS, even beating Alexis Ferrer, which wasn't an easy draw in fairness to him, but in winning that match 9-6, he made quite a few mistakes, played quite a loose brand of pool, I thought. Wasn't an easy draw for ALOYSIUS YAPP either. He overcame Phuong Nam Pham of Vietnam 9-5. I think this match is in many ways hard to predict. The one thing that is very simple to predict is that it will be quicker than the one we've just seen. I thought some of the pace of play in our first match bordered on the ludicrous.
Foul stroke, all in hand.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do, the cardinal sin, is to miss the object ball completely, ball in hand for YAPP. And he's immediately targeting the 2-9 combination. Well, I was saying that the one thing we can say with certainty is that this match is going to be quicker than the last. But he's certainly taking a great amount of time over this. Okay, it's a vital shot, but time is going on. Tick-tock. When it wasn't worth the wait.
I feel there's always that saying, think long, think wrong kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of times, any kind of combination, any type of shot where you're shooting to a portion of the pocket, you got to just trust what you see, really. And your first glance is usually pretty accurate. There's a missed ball in return. And, you know, I saw some things in his first match, and, of course, playing a fellow countryman, another youngster in Ferrer. Just some missed balls that were just really out of the ordinary, I thought, for AJ. And I just wonder, you know, he's such a superstar. Is it easy to start maybe not being on the practice table quite as much, you know, with everything else, with the social media and all the glamour at a young age?
Yeah, he just seemed nonchalant to me in his first match, made a lot of unnecessary mistakes. Just want to go back to our first match today. Do you hold the same opinion as I do, Jeremy, that at times it was interminable? The shot times, okay, we know it's a massive tournament, but it seems as though, well, it wasn't a minute, it was sometimes 2 or 3 minutes. And that's got to be counterproductive for the players who are taking that time, because it's paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth there. I mean, normally, you know, some of these tournaments we play early rounds without a shot
Foul
clock
strike.
on outer
Ball
tables.
in hand.
When the players get a warning a lot of times, you know, they tend to play better. It's almost like when they get a warning for the soft break, they pick up the speed, they tend to break better, they tend to play better behind that. And now 2 fouls there in game number 1 for AJ MANAS.
Yes, he won't be trying to weigh up the 2-9 combination here.
Well, you can see a troublesome 2 balls, the green 6 and 8. That's why he shot that 2-9 to start with, because didn't really see anything that lent opening those balls. But now everything down on the bottom end, so he should be able to put a plan together. And in the opening, I said that I don't really know if there's a better player percentage-wise than ALOYSIUS YAPP. Really, really smart with the cue ball and the layouts.
And also able to play under extreme pressure, as he showed at the Reyes Cup last year, the way he sealed victory for Team Asia. It was coolness personified.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that he's gotten so much better at is just percentage-wise making the tough ball more. He's gotten a little more power. It's always been having a great cue ball. Now, this isn't about the 5. This is more about what am I doing with the purple 5 after this pink 4 to get to that problem with the 6 and 8. Okay, trying to move the cue ball, not in position for anything offensive. He's trying to get in position to play a real nice safety. He wanted to be on the side rail or near so he could bump the green 6 back and utilize the 8 ball to contain the cue ball. And I don't know about you, Phil, but you can certainly feel a difference in the, or at least I can, in the area, at the tournament area, as far as the tension, because this is winner's qualification. You know, you get through this one, you're into that final 64, and you know, the loser's qualification obviously isn't usually as tough, but this tournament's a little different. You know, with the quality of the field, it's just, you could have just as tough a match, maybe even tougher. You got guys like SVB on the loser's side and so on.
Absolutely. The winner of this will have the rest of the day off. As AJ MANAS makes another very bad error. Yeah, the winner will have the rest of the day off. The loser will have to play Sam Henderson this evening again. Not an easy task. AJ, though, Albert James MANAS, needs to tighten up.
Yeah, and I think he was really concerned more about not letting the 6 open up there for a combination, and he was so thin. That scratch there is a hair more excusable, but he's already fouled 3 times here in this opening game. He's left nothing easy. The ball in hand, is the cross side bank really not an option? And as far as Sam Henderson, he made a nice comeback last night against a real solid Filipino player, and that's going to bode well for him moving forward.
Well, after this rack, if ever there was a crime committed using the wide ball, I think ALOYSIUS YAPP would be top of the suspect list because his fingerprints would be all over it.
No doubt. Now he's going to play a little shave on the 6. And I think he's on 2 fouls. Is that not correct? I think AJ's on 2 fouls, so he's got to be a
you're
little
on 2 fouls. If you foul now, you will lose the rack.
worried about a soft kick here. You doubt to not get a rail, but feel like it's going to be okay. The light side. Oh, he came with spin. This is going to open him. Yeah, I thought he'd go more straight rather than spin the ball, but
He's only 18. Of course, he plays in a relatively carefree manner. That's to be expected for someone of his age. But it does seem really nonchalant, doesn't it? Even in a match like this. Of course, the upside is that when he gets on a roll, he can look like a world beater and play like one.
yeah, it's been a small sample size for me as far as looking at AJ, but I didn't see anything like his first match, you know, the times I've gotten to see him play. Oh, now, after all that, that's the part about 9-ball. Things can change, like, you know, pretty easily. Your opponent can help you out.
After all of the fouls he's committed, who would have thought that young AJ MANAS would have had a chance to win this rack, and not just a chance, but a really good one?
Yeah, and I think he's got different hardware in his hands than the last time I saw him play at the POP. So, of course, cues are very delicate. They get used to different types, and sometimes that change can take a little bit. Still got that nice long fluid stroke, though. That's not going to go away. And again, the way he goes about it makes you feel like there's no nerves there. But
AJ MANAS wins the first rack.
you would have to bet otherwise if you've ever played this game competitively.
It's always interesting to find out the thoughts of the two players involved in a high-profile match like this. And before the contest got underway, we caught up with both.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and
Great match at Hill Hill. Antoine's up 8-2 right now. And we always talked about the numbers games with those types of countries that are so involved in the game. And Vietnam looking pretty solid so far here on qualification day.
just to put a score on it, James Aranas defeated Albin Ocean 9-5.
Yeah, the slick table just doesn't let you reverse the ball, or let's say when you're going against the grain, it just doesn't check up near as much. And I think he probably knew that, just trying to get in position to play a tidy safety. Tell you, Sanjin Pelivanovic up 8-2, and really struggled at that PLP. Had decent European Open, of course, with a big win over his buddy Eklund Kachi, but looks like he's been working on things, and of course, huge win here, especially with that scoreline.
Yes, and I've been watching that match because it's right below our commentary position. He was 2-0 down, so he's won 8 on the trot. By the way, in terms of the break-in run-out prize, Robbie Capito is still in line for that $10,000 US. 5 consecutive break-in run-outs on day one, but Johan Chua came close this afternoon. He had 4.
Well, I was watching that. He had 4, and he was on his 5th running the rack. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I had to get it for the Prez for the in between the matches, but to finish the match, he was on his 5th and let it escape. I kind of feel like Sanjin may have put some racks together also with that kind of win over Feliciano. Great breaker of the ball, Sanjin.
Yeah, Sanjin Pelivanovic beating Michael Feliciano 9-2. Get the feeling this one will be a little closer than that. Young AJ Manas is a player that is already well respected by the established stars of the game.
Yeah, we talk about YAPP's cue ball. It's always so good, but there's been a couple shots already, like here, quite short on the purple 5. Probably play a safety behind the 6-9 with the cue ball, trying to get a little separation as well. He's playing on the lighter side. Nice.
The Brits will be delighted with this. Jason Shaw was 4-1 down to Max Eberle. He's just gone 6-4 up.
Again, that's why a lot of times when you play the safety, you're getting separation, you're putting the 5 on the back rail, maybe try to get the snooker behind the 6-9. You can't fault, I don't think, YAPP's play, really, just how good Manas is with the short cue.
That was on the nose, wasn't it? And that was a cracker as well. Brilliant.
I think he can just ease it in. Could go 3 rails, but that's got to go. That's got to go to make it really easy. Definitely a good 2 feet short of his mark.
On a shot, Jeremy, where the margin of error was large. He says so what, just
AJ Manas wins the second
knocks it in as though it was over the pocket. AJ Manas, the teenager from Manila, leads ALOYSIUS YAPP Singapore's finest, 2-0. What about the other scores? Well, Tobias Bonga's on the hill against Khalid Al Ghamdi, leading 8-6. Bonga's, he's never played in the Mosconi Cup. He would love to be there. It is one of the great experiences, not just in pool, but I think in sport. This year, the event will be played at Alexandra Palace in London, the now traditional home of a European Mosconi Cup, where Europe will defend the title. The precise dates are December 3 to 6. Just evening sessions. And let me tell you, if you've never been to a Mosconi Cup, please, I can highly recommend it. The atmosphere is, well, it's unique.
Rack 3.
Yeah, really second to
Taking a match
none.
to break, leading 2 racks to nil.
2,500 to 3,000 right on top of the table. And of course, a huge title for both teams to try and get, representing the country and making those memories. I'll tell you, I've never heard anyone that has attended that just didn't want to go back, I'll tell you.
And it's the same on the other side of the pond.
All right, Manas gets the one down. I think he has a pretty nice look at the two. He does. And cue ball may have overrun here to get on the three. It's close. Did he snooker himself? Yeah, he's let that go a little bit. When you look at players that make runs in these events that aren't, you know, your household names in the you know, the latter end of these events, it's all about getting out on the routine ones, the layouts that are there. There are always going to be some tough ones. Your opponent's trying to never let you have a shot, but it's on you and the balls are open. It's all about being efficient, and I think his opponent has really shown us that, why he's had such great results time and time again. Just remember this. It may get lucky, though. I mean, he did.
You can possess all of the skill in the world, all of the potential in the world, but a bit of luck never does anyone any harm. Well, apart from your opponent.
I'll tell you, a guy we hadn't talked about a lot that's right here in front of us just because, you know, he hasn't played many of the events in the last year, is Anton Raga. What a talent. And when he has played, he has certainly brought a lot of game and brought a lot of atmosphere to every match he plays.
Yeah, what an entertaining contest on table 12 about to unfold. Raga against Mohamed Sufi.
Well, you talk about close quarters, getting this up and down quickly. He's got to almost land on top of the three. Cue ball could get ahead of the three. Really.
Foul stroke, ball in hand.
Unfortunate scratch there.
You hit the nail on the head in the first rack, Jeremy, when you said just how quickly things can change in 9-ball, as we see YAPP failed to make the necessary height, catching the 8 on the way through.
Honestly, I mean, these guys are incredible with the jump cue, so it's hard to argue, but the kick was a pretty nice kick shot there and had a lot of options and a lot of ways to get safe. You could kick it in. Of course, these guys practice with the jump cue much more than we ever did back in the day when they first came out. So the percentages in their mind may lay a little differently than the ones we kind of look at.
Was there a jumping pioneer, Jeremy? Was there someone who stood out in the early days? Wow, he can do this, no one else can.
Well, the original pioneer for the jump shot was Earl Strickland, but that was, I think, back in the 70s, maybe 80s, without the jump cue. But I think the guy that I always considered probably the best as far as the top players, you know, there are some guys in different pool rooms that that's all they do really is mess around with it, but was Johnny Archer. Johnny was really good with the jump cue early, You know, considering the technology they had at that time, now the jump cue has really opened up the door to be able to do so many more things, and that's why you see the players kind of lean on that a bit more often than us old school guys would have. And it was funny just because it was so new and it wasn't something you grew up with. There were some great players that when they went to jump the ball, you were wanting them to jump it with the jump cue just because, you know, they may foul, they may miss cue. It's just, it was kind of an odd ball.
Johnny Archer, the world 9-ball champion in 1992, and again 5 years later. Look at the side there. Just the visualization. Yes, there's still an awful lot for AJ MANAS to learn.
AJ MANAS wins the
But
third
in
rack.
terms of shot making, in terms of the spectacular, he's got plenty in the locker.
I don't ever slow
Look
up,
at the
no, I don't
scoreline.
take
Leads
shit.
Aloysius
I got no love
3-0.
for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Welcome back everyone to always sunny Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as day 3 of the World 9-Ball Championship continues. An 18-year-old from the pool hotbed of the Philippines, AJ MANAS. What a start he's made. The first rack, well, to be frank, he was very poor, but he won it nevertheless, and since then he's really bedded into the contest.
Yeah, it seems to be a little more settled. Of course, got a little help there from YAPP, but also that jump shot in the second game may have gotten the young MANAS going. Starboy's his nickname. And I think the way he cues the ball is the
Push out called.
technique that really sets up the best in 9-ball pool. I mean, always talk about technique, of course, do a lot of teaching and coaching, but you know, when you talk about a technique that really suits all tables, all kinds of conditions, easy to change from one kind of cue ball to the next and maneuver through, you know, I think that's what you're going to see in the future.
While Yapp's making up his mind, I can tell you Jason Shaw now on the hill against Max Eberle at 8-5. Tobias Bonga's on the hill against Colin Al-Ghamdi at 8-7.
Khalid at the table too, and he's on the 5-ball, so he's got to clean up 5 shots to get hill and breaking.
One final report of someone on the hill. Ko Ping Chung doubling up on Patrick Gonzalez at 8-4.
Hey, well, we're not playing with that. And YAPP, you know, back in the day and not too long ago, a few years ago, he could get bogged down at times, and I think that could be the case here, trailing, you know, trying to get in position, maybe try to control a little the pace of the match against a young AJ MANAS, especially being down 3-0. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I don't think any shot clock would be in position for AJ MANAS. As we see, eagle eye, Jason Shaw. I was going to say putting the finishing touches to victory, but after that, maybe not. Could that be an error he really ruse? That's over on table 2. He was basically 1 foot and several toes into the next round. Not anymore.
Yeah, and 2 balls on the table. Nothing easy to get a snooker. It looks like the bank has fallen. Not very playable. AJ's gotten on top of the purple 5. Probably a safety. Yeah, this has been overhit, so Max is going to have a chance. And a shot like that, a lot of times, just go to the rail instead of trying to be so, you know, touchy and cute behind the 9. Not saying it was a terrible play. This is giving up a shot also for Aloysius YAPP. We'll keep you informed about Shaw.
Yeah, the gap is there. no doubt, enough of the 5-ball can be seen.
Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and let the cue ball go, I would assume. The 6-7 combination, not too difficult. Is he going to try and kill it for this little gap? That shot, to me, to a piece of the ball is always scary because you're having to put a little inside spin, maybe. Swerve a little early, you could catch the brown 7 and foul. I think I got to come around to the center of the table, and here you go for Shaw.
Despite that hiccup, Jason Shaw is through. He started slowly, he finished quickly. The great British hope.
Short of the mark. Now he's got to make a decision. He's had a couple mistakes already, and he's got some distance on this combination. Could overcut the 6, play it to the side rail and down, and run the cue ball trying to use the 8-9, but I think he's supposed to go for this. It's a combination where he's about 80% at least. Maybe more like 70%. There's a little more cut on it. 7's a hair more away from the pocket, but I think you got to try and bury this one.
I think you were right with 80% in the first place. Bongers are now hill. Khalid going to the air with the jump cue.
ALOYSIUS YAPP wins the 4th rack.
It took a while, but ALOYSIUS YAPP is off the mark. He won the most recent Matchroom major, the UK Open in Telford, England, back in May, and he won it in remarkable circumstances. Beating Jonas Suto Camino 13-1 in the final. This will not be as simple, clearly, but at least he's got some kind of foothold now. This is what's been occurring out there on the featured tables. As Jeremy said, Tobias Bongers and Khalid Al Ghamdi have gone hill. The rest of those scores, well, I think it's fair to say all of the favourites on tables 1 to 4 in completed matches have won. Fedor Gorst, Jason Shaw. The most surprising, not victory, but scoreline, margin of victory, was Duong Quoc Wang beating Daniel Maciel 9-1. And I watched quite a bit of that match. Duong was simply magnificent.
Well, I was telling Carl with that scoreline that I feel like you had to really put the handcuffs on, or put him in the chair a lot, Maciel, because Maciel's the type of player that he almost fools you how good he plays just because he never makes a simple error, it seems. Quiet guy. Great player from Poland. Oh, he hit that way thin. Did get a ball down, and it's going to work out beautifully. We'll see about a 4-9 combination, potentially anyways. Looks pretty lined up for the lower right corner. Yeah, takes a quick look. Always good to know those options. But he got away with one there as far as the break shot. He's fallen a little odd here. Of course, this pocketing the 3, not a problem, but it's a little stretched. You can see a little shake of the head there, not really settled in. But doesn't have to get back too far to play that 4-9 combo, I thought anyways. Oh, now he's going with a high ball, so he doesn't like the combination. He's trying to go 2 cushions to play the pink in the lower left. Looks like he hit it beautifully. Yeah, really good. So this will open up the rest of this rack. Fairly close quarters on the 4 with not much angle. Probably draws between the 9-8. Could kind of push the 9 away also.
There is another goal for ALOYSIUS YAPP. He's the closest pursuer to Fedor Gorst in the World 9-Ball Tour rankings. Win this and top spot is suddenly attainable. He has been the world junior champion. Won that in Shanghai, China in 2014. And in 2021, I know he's not made the most convincing start, Jeremy, but I think these days, on any list of potential champions at the big events, the name of ALOYSIUS YAPP has to be included. And after losing the first 3, he's won the next 2, so just a single rack behind.
Yeah, and that list is quite near the top, you would say. Again, improved in the little areas. He was as good as he liked and always very efficient, just so consistent with everything. He's going to show up at every match, it seems.
The decider between Carladale, Camden, Tobias Bombers is still going on. It is really tense over there on table 3. 8 racks each. Still, anyone's to win. Joshua Filler pegged back by Yanni Uski on table 6. It was 2-0 for Filler, now 2-2. Bernie Regulario there. What a good player he is. So many of them from the Philippines. He's 1-0 down to Ko Pin Yi.
Yeah, Khalid Bongers had about 5 or 6 exchanges on the 2-ball, battling for that first shot. It looks like Khalid has gotten it. He's in position to win that. You talk about the Regulario match in Ko Pin Yi. Loser of that match, you know who they go on to face in the loser's qualification, and that is SVB. So you don't figure maybe a lot of players don't look. Do look, some of them maybe. What a matchup we could have later.
Well, of course, we have no jurisdiction on who's going to be on the main table, but if it is Ko Pin Yi against Shane Van Boning, I would think that would have a reasonable chance, Jeremy, somehow.
Well, we're going to have great, matchups for that loser's qualification, but I kind of feel like no matter who wins that match and moves through the loser versus SVB is going to be on the main table. Feel like it anyways. Now YAPP looking at this 2-ball, and the reason why he's got so much cover on the miss with the 5-9, the 7, and the 8 there, and he's got, I think, fairly natural position. And again, he must really like this because he could easily play a good safety, chip off the left side of the 2, come down here behind the 8. Just got to come back and forth through the 3. And you can see what I was talking about. Of course, he split the wicket. He's dressed up on the 3 in the side. Not sure that ever touched the side rail. Just barely before the pocket.
That's a very English term, Jeremy. Split the wicket. Didn't know you were into your cricket.
Well, I wouldn't say. I got to be honest. I didn't know the history of the term, but I heard it a long time ago when I first started playing pool. I think some of the people, just the verbiage around the pool room, that may be half the reason you get hooked. Makes sense though, Phil. I learned something. All right, Khalid has made a mistake somewhere because Bongers is on the 8 and 9. To move on, and Bongers is a sneaky guy. Very, very solid player. Had a great result. What was it, the European Open or was it UK? It may have been the UK, but
there's a big crowd assembled around that table, and I think they're about to be very disappointed. Tobias Bongers is not disappointed. Yes, he says, come on. He's won 9-8. Khalid Al-Ghamdi goes to the losers qualification round this evening.
Gap showing us that great cue ball right there on that shot, getting that gap and close quarters. Close quarters important. You don't want a long distance 5, having to get all the way back down for the green 6.
Applied the power, but not the precision.
Definitely left a little gap. I don't know if there's anything offensive. Maybe the long rail bank, but a couple of Filipinos, Ignacio and Bohannon, now at 8-7. Beautiful control there.
Yeah, that is another match I've been watching. Bohannon and Ignacio. The latter made a great start. Bohannon missed an 8 ball by some distance. Enjoyed an outrageous fluke, landed on the 9, and ever since, he's been the one who's been pretty much in the ascendancy. It was a quintessential turning point.
Ignacio's always amazing to me. It's just like you don't hear a lot, you don't hear a lot. Then some of the biggest events, he just seems to turn it on. Had a great little run last year, a little controversy in that match with Pseudo, I think it was. Maybe that was the final 64, final 32, but it's just, a lot of Filipinos, believe it or not, are somewhat quiet, and you forget about them.
Yeah, they lurk, don't they? As a ever-present threat.
Safety showing that talent, produced a nice shot.
Yeah, one of those matches where his table time is well below 50%, and yet he's won after this 9 ball goes in. 66% of the racks. AJ, A-OK, and that's because he leads ALOYSIUS YAPP by 4 racks to 2. I think it's fair to say winners qualification in the World Pool Championship is living up to expectations. What an afternoon. So many storylines, and maybe that narrative is going to be widened by a story about an 18-year-old overcoming one of the game stars. Although AJ MANAS again seeing that cue ball disappear.
Yeah, the ultimate sin in 9-ball pool. That one was
Ball in hand.
a bit unlucky. Of course, that's why we see golden breaks sometimes, because that cue ball going back through the rack. You get some unfortunate kisses. The most wide open rack we've had so far, though. There's been some troublesome ones here early. And these hit nice. You can see the 2 near the red 3, the pink 4 near the purple 5, and then the last few balls on the bottom end.
I think YAPP, from what I've seen so far, would be well advised to just increase the pace slightly. As you said, he does have a tendency, when there's no shot clock to restrict him, does have a tendency to become a little too methodical for his own good.
You know, our game, our sport, especially when you have that keen brain, you can try to maybe look at ways to make it too easy on yourself. And you got to realize it's still more about knocking balls in, and like you said, getting that rhythm. Can't ever imagine ALOYSIUS making too bad of a decision, and if you're feeling the execution nicely, it will overcome anything anyways.
Well, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. We've seen him play under a 30-second shot clock on numerous occasions, and we've seen him play brilliantly.
Yeah, well, I think when he played before, he had the mindset of relying on that cue ball, and again, that cue ball is going to be good. Now, the reason why he's really become the elite in the world, one of the elite, is because he doesn't miss many balls either. Comes with a tough shot. We saw that at the Reyes Cup, some of the shots he made that were just incredible with that heat. A little shake of the head there, I'm not sure why. Perfect position, hit the 7 well.
ALOYSIUS YAPP wins the 7th.
The gap closes again for a man who has got cueing fundamentals. You want to know this, Jeremy, but he is a former Singapore national snooker champion. He actually beat Peter Gilchrist in the final 4-2. Now, Gilchrist is a former world English billiards champion who's very skilled. Now, this is the break and run out chart. $10,000 US goes to the player who tops it at the end of the championship. And Robbie Capito, who put together 5 consecutive racks on day 1, I've been talking to a lot of the players actually, and they tend to believe, the vast majority of them anyway, that 5 will stick. Now, we had Johan Chur this afternoon running 4 consecutive racks. Wen Antoine, Fedor Gorst, Joshua Filler, they are the 3 players tied in 3rd at the moment with 3 consecutive. I think 5 is a big ask.
Yeah, that was the number that got the cheese last year. That cheese is doubled, by the way, to 10K. But yeah, 5.
ALOYSIUS YAPP to break. Trailing 4 racks to 3.
5's a big number. And the thing is, it takes 6 to beat it. Maybe have somebody roll in there and split that. Split that prize fund.
Here, YAPP wants to split these balls far and wide. Well, the one's in the side. Not bad.
Well, we saw a much tougher 2-ball, similar shot to the upper right corner that he tapped on twice, so you know he's going to stay offensive here. This is where he's really improved. Great shot.
So many tense matches out there. Just below our commentary position, Michael Bohannon, Jeffrey Ignacio. It's hill between the two Filipinos.
Yeah, Ignacio is on a little queuing over the 5, but he's got an easy 4 ball besides the queuing. The 5 accessible and the 6-9 hanging. So I think it's all about this first shot on the pink. Filipinos carried the most into this event. And it's hard to argue why or why not.
Very fluent pot. If you're a fan of pool and you love to see a multiple table situation, then this is for you. There we see Bernie Regulario, 3-1 up on Copigny. Got the chance here for 4-1.
Filipino players, we tend to see, you know, some kind of unique cueing, unique strokes, but Bernie a little more of the traditional cueing you'd like to see in a very solid player at a young age.
Yeah, nothing solid about that 3-ball missed by Yapp. AJ Manas isn't doing a great deal. He's just feeding off Yapp's errors, whether they be tactical or just a routine missed pot there.
Yeah, got a hair awkward here from distance. Could have used getting a little closer, and that would have really made all the angles very easy and accessible. Now he's got to decide, am I going to float this? Am I going to use some power to stun over? And this is what happens. Now you got to get on the 6. Couple options, I think. Look at that. Missed pots, and we're not even halfway through the match. 6 for Manas and 4 for Yapp.
So I reckon Manas, well, we know he's missed 6 pots. He's definitely scratched 4 times, to my knowledge. And yet he's going to be leading by a couple in a moment if he accepts this opportunity, which you can't imagine will go a-begging.
Yeah, and of course 3 consecutive fouls is a loss of game, but I had this conversation years ago with a few players. If you foul 3 times in one game period, maybe it should be a loss of game. That's never going to come about.
Didn't even think, entertain the thought he would miss that. Just got down and knocked it in as though it was the most natural thing in the world. And the 9-ball follows, so AJ Manas is now more than halfway to a victory over a player who's regarded as one of the very best in the business. The 18-year-old 5-3 up. Going well for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz over on table 4 against Mauricio Garcia of Peru. FSR leads 5-1. Blast from the past, Alex Pagulayan 7-5 up on Kasper Matikainen of Finland. Had your help this morning, didn't he, Alex? He forgot his pass. Did he get it sorted out? They wouldn't let him in, would they?
Yeah, they're strict on the security here. And sporting events, of course, a very safe country here in Saudi, but they're going to do their job. And yeah, Alex had to get a little help to get another pass. And here's some stats.
Yeah, there you see. Missed pots. I mean, 10 from them in 8 racks. Considering the standard out there, that is a real surprise. I think the most surprising miss so far was the 3-ball we've just witnessed.
Well, one thing you alluded to a moment ago as far as cleaning up, you know, he has a, what is it, 2-game lead now at 5-3, I believe it is, and he's made 6 less balls than Yapp, and he has a 2-game lead. think this 3/8's there. Can he get at it? One thing, AJ, of course, he's young, so that always helps. But he's an exceptional young player. He's not naive in any means, but it's almost like the way he plays, he doesn't let negative even have time to creep in there. If he takes a little time on a shot, he's really disturbed, I think, or doesn't like the situation. So
This might be way off the mark, Jeremy, but I get the impression with him, he would play the same against a pal down at the club as he does in this match.
I totally agree. I think he'd play the same in the final of this World Pool Championships if he happens to get there. All right, fell a little flat, so he may have to shoot the purple 5 from some distance. Well, we saw the 9 ball earlier where he ended up way short. Didn't even think twice, just got down and sliced it in. Big shot here, I think, in this match. Gets this down and gets through, maybe gets the break going. We may not see a whole lot more of Aloysius Yapp in this match. We'll see. I think this break and run took all of about 90 seconds.
He plays with very appealing fluidity, doesn't he, AJ MANAS? And just like that, when you thought maybe Aloysius Yapp had got a foothold, oh no, MANAS back in front, and significantly at 6-3. Apart from all his achievements on the World 9-Ball Tour, Aloysius Yapp has been a gold medalist in the Southeast Asian Games. But the way things are going in this match, he could get the silver for this contest, i.e. come out second best. Young AJ MANAS is only 3 racks away from what would be a very eye-opening victory.
After 5 seconds, got to come back up.
To attack on the 2 here with the purple 5 hanging over the corner. I think he does shoot at this. The center of the table's very open.
Okay.
Be hard for me not to shoot at it, I know that. You know, really maybe a 6-inch margin up the rail to make this combination. Probably just float it, come across, stay a little above the 3.
Just caressed it, which is exactly the contact he wanted.
Yeah, by the looks of his head, he probably fell a little straight and near the rail with the cue ball. We'll get a look in a moment. Oh no, he's all right. He's just got to draw. Now, how big of a pocket? Sometimes the 7 can fool you the way it sits with the 3 there, where you think it makes the pocket bigger, but actually, these 4-inch pockets, sometimes it makes it a little more difficult. Great look there, though, so I think he can squeeze it by.
Yeah, cracking camera work. We're right down the line of the shot. The gap is there, but it's a squeeze.
Yeah, also with maybe a little bit of trouble with the 4 and 8. He didn't want to take a chance, and this may lend a little more offerings to get on that pink 4. He's looking at the kiss shot. Now he could play short side for the pink in the same pocket. Could draw into him. He's going to come out for the kiss shot. So the kiss shot must lay really nice. Just a little thin. He'll hold the pink on the bottom rail for the lower left as the 8 goes in.
And there's no nation better at those intricate shots than the Philippines.
Yeah, well, they grow up playing rotation, and you know, which you have to shoot in order, but that's with 15 balls on the table, so you have a lot of combination, kick shots, kiss shots, caroms. Come back for the 9 on the side, and this is 2 break and runs. After that missed 3 ball from Yapp to tie our score.
AJ MANAS wins the 10th rack.
The most he can have consecutively, of course, is 4, because he only needs 2 more to win the match. AJ Manas not concerned about that. All he's concerned about is converting this now substantial lead into what would be a really good victory over the World 9-Ball Tour rankings number 2. ALOYSIUS YAPP finds himself in more than a spot of bother, and maybe he's heading towards that losers qualification matchup against young Sam Henderson. Will be, if that is the case, a case of YAPP taking on successive teenagers. Yoni Uski was 5-2 up on Joshua Filler. It's now 5-3. Bernie Regulario is 4-1 up on Copenhagen. Mohamed Soufi 4-3 over Anton Raga. Naoki Oi, he's finding difficulties on table 13 against Chang Yulong, 7-3 down. Viktor Zielinski 7-3 up on Mieszko Fortunski. Jeffrey Rodder on the hill against Mustafa Alner at 8-4. Mustafa Alner, of course, the only player who beat Fedor Gorst in this championship last time around. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 6-2 on Mauricio Garcia. 7-6 for Alex Pagulayan over Kasper Matakainen.
AJ managed to break. Within 7 racks.
Roland Garcia and Amir Ali 4-4. They're locked together. And while I was talking, Bernie Regulario extended his lead over Copenhagen to 5-1.
And that table's not far away, Phil. I really haven't seen him at the table much, Copenhagen. He's been playing great, so that may be the case. Nothing offensive here, but he does have a look, maybe stretched a bit. Should find some type of containing safety with the group of balls, you know, somewhat near the rack.
You want to play? Okay.
Now, I may reach over from the left rail and try and fan the 2-ball. He would, I mean, just not that good with the bridge. The best shot is to bank the 2 away or play it away and maybe get behind the 8 or maybe the pink. Long distance, and it's been a while since he shot, so we'll see what kind of decision YAPP wants to make here on a long 2-ball that's very crucial.
One result I didn't give you. Victory for Hong Kong's Lo Ho Sum overcomes Xu Jui An 9-5.
Problem here is, of course, how difficult the pot is and getting position on the 3, but the safety, there's no cupcake here. He can't really cross it over and run the cue ball. It's a little thin for that. Could scratch in that corner near the 2. Can't really bang it around easily. And over the ball trying to size it up. And we've seen incredible comebacks on the World 9-Ball Tour, but you gotta believe he has to have this game, and every pool player believes they can make any comeback as long as their opponent's not on the hill. As long as they need 2 games, you still got a chance.
We will see Jeffrey Rodder in the single elimination last 64 tomorrow. He's beaten Mustafa Alner. It's been a really good afternoon for the Filipinos.
Absolutely, and a couple of them had to play each other, but I tell you, Uski puts one back on his side, now up 6-3 over Filler. He caught the double kiss. You could see it as it was going towards the 2. It was going to double kiss. A little fortunate maybe not to not only leave a shot, but not lose the cue ball. A lot of times that double kiss, the cue ball will slide towards that upper right corner. And maybe, you know, sometimes, you know, in this situation, I feel like Yapp slows down because he's trying to gain control of himself also, not just the match, because a lot of times you made mistakes to get behind. It should be a routine, bring the cue ball down behind that 3 and 9. He's trying to pin him. And this is already shown us some real class with the short cue, and it's just a sliver here, I think, to get over. Just going to creep past the side, I think. So this is going to be easy by any means. And again, the type that it's hard to get separation with a lot of control. If you play the 2 down to the low rail and you don't get the hook, the snooker anyways, you're going to leave an easy return safety with all these blockers down on the bottom end. So he may have to play across the 2 and come down the end rail, and if he leaves something, it's a real challenge for AJ MANAS. Again, if he comes with the 2 to the bottom rail, could be problems. Cut at this. I know it sounds crazy, but now he's looking to play this much more full, bank the 2 slowly across below the pink 4 and use the 7 and 3. It's probably the smartest shot. Still, though, you could lose a very manageable kick shot, and of course, AJ great with the jump cue. Yeah, very good.
Alex Pagulayan of Canada. He's 8-6 up now on Kasper Matikainen, so 1 rack away from single elimination.
You feel like it's a big shot that Yapp needs to get himself going, and this may be it. Attack and just bring the cue ball at the 3-9. Take your chances. Could kick behind it, maybe bring it down. But again, if you don't get the snooker, too many options for AJ. He's just sizing up now. Yapp does that quite often. Gets down quickly to size the shot up, get a little feeling of it. I don't think he can pass this up, really. 3 doesn't have a whole lot of pockets. It's the lower left. It's the ideal. But that's why I think it naturally it kind of goes at the 3-9. That's the chance I would take.
Wanted a more robust flick than that.
Notice he played it with a lighter speed, trying not to maybe get some kind of collision and some kind of bad roll, lose the cue ball in the lower right corner or something like that.
While he goes through his thought process, which is quite lengthy, I can tell you on table 11, Bernie Regulario now 6-1 up on Kopin Yi. And Yanni Uski on table 6, 7-3 over Joshua Filler.
Pay attention now, Oi. I think he was down 7-2 or 7-3 now. Just 3 balls away from tying that match. And he's on a bit of a break and run session. So we'll keep an eye on that number. Jump's not bad. Doesn't really offer position, though. That's what I was thinking. He was going to be going away from the pink 4. If he's totally snookered, that's a little unlucky. If he's got the right side, his right side of the 4, he's got options. You know, like SVB. Oh, he is pretty snookered, yeah. You may have to go by the 6 here on the right side rail. That's what I would look at. But like SVB, who's really, you know, led everyone into learning how to break the balls much better. And I think Fedor Gorst has done the same with the jump shot. But just imagine another few years how great all these youngsters are going to be on both those departments. In both those departments, excuse me.
The one thing you notice with AJ Manas, the emotions occasionally flicker across his face, but he's not that much of a heart on sleeve man, is he? Hard to read.
Cool as a cucumber. We'd always say about a guy like that, but at such a young age as well. A lot of us have to learn that one way or another. It's very natural to him. May go for the bank here. Pretty touchy one cutting this in the side.
Very nice indeed.
Boy, did get out. Tie that match with chain. 7 apiece.
Just for a split second, I was concerned about that one.
Yeah, coming backwards with the cue ball, those types of shots, easy to pull it off the rail. Nothing wrong here, just will come 3 cushions for the 8. Most likely to play the 9 in the left middle. It's going to be a pretty good stretch here. You need the extension. Score's been marked on our end yet, but I see him across the room there on the breaking end. I believe that may be 8-7.
Yeah, and this one's tightening up as well.
Still haven't seen Kopini at the table.
Aloysius Yapp wins the 11th rack.
It's probably not the case, but looks like Regularo's got another chance to win another game.
Yeah, these are intriguing matches. We've only got 9 matches left in winners qualification, and there are some very unexpected scorelines, some very lopsided scorelines as well. And when you look at the world rankings, a lot of the top 10, well, this afternoon, they've either extricated themselves from trouble or they're in trouble at the moment. ALOYSIUS YAPP, number 2, although he is well behind Fedor Korsh, the defending champion here. Joshua Filler, as I said, he's 7-3 down right now, the world number 5 to Yanni Uski. Eklund Kachi, I thought, had to fight so hard and was a little bit fortunate to overcome Chris Melling from 7-4 down. He won 9-8, did the big Albanian. Mickey Krause was behind early as well, as was Jason Shaw, even though both of them got the result in the end. What a star-studded lineup the top 10 is, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some more stars down the road behind him. I'll tell you what, you got to be impressed with what Finland has done so far in this event. Of course, Mika Immonen, the one who's led this younger class
Rack
of
12.
players from Finland.
ALOYSIUS YAPP break.
And we've been
Setting
talking
7
about the
racks to 4.
Filipinos, what a great afternoon for them, and it's across the generations. The veteran, Roland Garcia, has just gone 6-4 up on Amir Ali.
Yeah, but what we're seeing in this match, not far away from us, with Copigny, is what may be setting us up for what, you know, a lot of us could have thought of a potential final and losers qualification with him and SVB.
Sometimes in snooker you get that where a player falls down the rankings a little and they have an extraordinary match in the first round. One that comes to mind, Stephen Hendry on one occasion had to play Jimmy White in the first round at the Crucible. It happens, and we love it. Well, I'll give you another example. 2011 World Championship. Defending champion Neil Robertson had to play Judd Trump.
Yeah, those things just happen. I mean, and they're deserving, really. I mean, one way or another, someone didn't play well and got beat by some players that deserve to win, and got to earn it out here. I think he goes here. Yeah, maybe not. Didn't really go to look behind the ball. Normally they would look behind the ball if they're shooting. So he's just going to try and put him on top of the 4, I believe.
Still get the feeling there's an awful lot of pool left in this one. Well, he took a cheeky glance as to whether Yapp can get through to the 2, and from his body language, I think it was hard to determine whether he could. As I say, he plays things close to his chest.
Yeah, I think he can get at it, though. And he was trying to kick, I think, and stick him on that 4, and the 2 leaked over off the brown 7. End up short side, another friendly bump. Had to let it go a bit, though. Needed some power. Great shot. The awkward cueing.
Yeah, great shot with, as you say, that fortune attached. He's even got the angle on the 3 for shape on the 4.
can see the green 6 and 8, a little jumbled up. Fortunate thing in that situation is the brown 7's over the corner. The brown 7's like at that middle of the top rail. Position on the 6 is not only a little awkward, but it needs to be nice to gain position on the brown. Should play this 4 and 5 and maybe draw behind. The green 6, the combination on the 6-8, not too bad, but it's probably one you want to avoid. He's overran here, though. A little bit. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he can go forward with the cue ball.
As you were saying, Jeremy, there's a massive chance that Ko Pin-Yi will have to play Shane Van Boening in losers qualification this evening. And that's a repeat of what happened in the final of this World 9-Ball Championship in 2015. Ko Pin-Yi edging SVB 13-11. So you said it could have been a final. Well, a decade ago, it was a final.
Tidy position on the 6 here. To play a touchy one off the purple 5. Finally, Ko Pin-Yi at the table. I don't think I've seen it once this match. Mike Yoy making the comeback on 7-3 as 1-5 on the trot.
Yes, with the winner breaks format, there is always the hope, even from a seemingly hopeless scoreline, that you can pull things out of the fire. We saw it in our first featured match of this broadcast with Clint Catchy. 7-4 down, beat Chris Melling 9-8. Here, ALOYSIUS YAPP was 7-3 adrift. Now, though, it is only 7-5. This could build up to be quite a finish. Welcome back, everyone, to the Green Halls in Jeddah for the second consecutive year, home of the World 9-Ball Championship. This is winners' qualification to try and make it into the single elimination last 64 tomorrow. ALOYSIUS YAPP is number 2 in the World 9-Ball Tour rankings. But at the moment, he's struggling to contain an 18-year-old from the Philippines who doesn't seem to have a care in the world.
A little fortunate there on a dry break. Didn't hit him poorly. Cue ball got kissed a couple times by the pink and has offered a really difficult shot on the 1. And even more difficult to get position. Yeah, it's got to go. This is going to offer a shot, I believe. May have gotten a piece of the snooker. Didn't leave anything easy, though. Tells you he's going to get the jump cue, I think so. Must have the full eclipse. This guy's become one of the best with the jump cue as well. Now, he had a foul earlier on one that I think was a little suspect to be jumping at anyways, but that tells you how good he is, though. With it, feels like he can take on most shots. Come back down, just a matter of where it sits. Looks like it's going to get past the pink. I think it did open up. they're there. Really. It gets on the 2 handy. I mean, the 3, 4, 5 back on this bottom end. 6 is a little covered maybe by the 8 and the 7, but there's still options.
Let's put it this way, Jeremy. He would settle for this chance when he came to the table. Gladly. And one of the criticisms I was making of MANAS at the start of the match, the fact he's so nonchalant, it seems, could actually work in his favour here, because I think the way he plays the game, certainly looking from the outset, it seems as though nerves can't really penetrate.
And I'll tell you what happens. It could be by design, you know, to where he said to himself, you know, I'm going to play like I'm practicing a little bit. And has experienced some success doing so. And obviously not the type that needs to pick the rack apart, sees things quickly.
Yeah, external carefree, maybe internal intensity.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's a special guy.
AJ MANAS wins the
And
13th
now,
track.
Albert James MANAS is on the hill. They call him the Pinoy Prodigy, and he's showing us exactly why. So many players actually out there find themselves on the hill. In fact, on table 5, it's double hill. Alex Pagulayan and Kasper Matikainen. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz on the neighbouring table, now 8-4 up on Mauricio Garcia. It's 8-7 for Victor Zielinski over Mieszko Fortunski. Still 8-7 for Naoki Oi over Chang Yulung. And Yanni Uski is the latest player to climb onto the hill. 8-5 up on Joshua Filler. So you could have this evening, quite conceivably, Filler, Van Boning and Copigny all in losers qualification.
Yeah, fighting for the tournament life.
Other scores: Anton Raga 7-5 on Mohamed Soufi. Roland Garcia 6-5 up on Amir Ali, and I think that's
Rack
got
14.
all of the matches
AJ
still
plays
out
the
there
break.
covered.
On the hill, leading 8 racks to 5.
Yeah, narrowly escaping. And I'll tell you, you know, looking at this table, and we've seen him twice now, you talk about, can this man really win the tournament? I mean, he obviously has the talent to do so, but you have to break the balls well, consistently match after match to win this type of event against this type of crowd. And he's been as good making the one on the side, I think, as anyone I've seen.
Had the pleasure of writing a piece for the official program for this year's event about Wu Cha-ching, who 20 years ago won this World 9-ball title when he was 16. So being tender of years is no obstacle. He actually completed the World 9-ball and World 8-ball double in the same year.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the 8-ball, but I was in the building for the 9-ball, and you know, you get those special humans every now and again. We're certainly looking at one, we think anyways. Of course, long ways from winning the title, but winning the title or not, we can see he's gonna, oh, what a missed 3-ball there. He's gonna get an awesome flick though, unless he scratches. Big time roll.
And a big time comeback for Japan's pool's court jester, Naoki Oi, who's beaten Chang Yulung 9-7.
Yeah, Chang missed a couple shots after Oi put a lot of heat on him coming back. And of course, I'm a long ways from Kasper Matikainen, and the Lion, Alex Pagulayan, but it looks like Kasper's at the table. Now Alex at the table, so I'll keep you up to date on that Hill match. But
Yeah, Ko Ping Chung, the younger brother of Ko Ping Yi, faring much better this afternoon. He's beaten Patrick Gonzalez 9-5. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz came through a few moments ago against Mauricio Garcia of Peru, 9-4.
Foul strike.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, it was a difficult hit. Trying to make the ball is always going to be difficult to get on the ping. And that's why those early mistakes, they really mount up late, just because your opponent can get a little break come to the end that you don't really have much to say about. Oh, I don't know if this is any good. He's hit this way off mark. I mean, too light with the speed. Wow, he had a big gap to get to the right side of the pink. Maybe fortunate to be able to see the pink at all.
There are mistakes, errors, and blunders. And that was a blunder.
Yeah, almost kind of decelled on the stroke a bit, it looked like, which is something I really haven't witnessed from the young man. Of course, we've only had small sample size. Is he going to try and get behind the purple? Oh, he could. He was trying to make that, by the way, and if he didn't make it in the side, let it wander, but still, big moment. What could be a really big moment in this match as we move forward.
I think that's about as much as you're going to get from him emotion-wise. Just the beginnings of a smile.
Yeah, and you figure him to get another opportunity, whether it's this rack offensively or the next few, and we'll see if we can leave that big mistake behind. This is touchy. Got to play off what would be his right, his right side of the pink. Bringing the cue ball near the brown, trying to use the 6 and 9, I think. He's going the other route. So he likes trying to play the pink behind the 7 and run the cue ball up behind the 8. From this distance, I go the other route. I try to put the pink on our right side rail and the cue ball on the left side rail near the 7. I think you have a little more room for accuracy or margin for error from this distance. Got a little heavy. I don't think you're going to see AJ be able to attack really, but just because position's not on offer. But
YAPP knows he's on the verge of defeat, and that's also the case for Syria's Mohamed Soufi, who was the runner-up in this fine championship just a couple of years ago. 8-5 down to Anton Raga, who has the tactical advantage on the 8 ball in rack 14. Soufi has stuck the 8 over the centre pocket.
Got the snooker here, back in the 8 by the 4 by the 8. Looks like, I believe anyways, Yanni Uski just gave the thumbs up. I think he's taken down a former world champion in Josh Filler.
Well, we know for certain, because we can see it with our own eyes, that Anton Raga has just defeated Mohamed Soufi 9-5. So many big names going into this losers qualification session. Please tune in tonight. It should be compelling viewing.
Yeah, of course, just to advance in the tournament, when we get to that final 64, beautiful kick shot. He's made it. What a turnaround this could be. It's only 8-5 and gets it 8-6. Of course, needs 3 in a row, but very doable. Yeah, past that, the final 64 will extend the races to 11. And of course, our final one race to 15.
Observational skills, Jeremy, have not failed you. Yanni Uski has beaten Joshua Filler 9-5. So Filler will now play Gerson Martinez of Peru in losers qualification this evening.
Yeah, very dangerous player, really kind of unlucky to draw his countrymen. The only two that come from Peru. That's where he took his loss at Hill Hill. That was yesterday. Yep, got it off the ball there. I was wondering, looked like he was pretty perfect on the 6. Very, very good shape to clean up and get it to 8-6.
Just looked a little edgy on the last couple of shots to me, but they've gone in.
Aloysius,
Yapp
that's the 14th rack.
not waving the white flag. 8-6, and for him, winning the next 3 racks, eminently doable. That really poor positional shot from AJ MANAS could come back to haunt him. Now, what about this tournament? My co-commentator Jeremy Jones has actually won the thing. What an achievement. What a memory for you, Jeremy. This year's event, the US Open Pool Championship, will take place at the Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City on the New Jersey shoreline from August the 18th to the 23rd. It is an absolutely terrific event, and of course this year, much enhanced prize money. The winner will receive $100,000 US. Star-studded field, as always. Big crowds, great atmosphere, and it means so much to so many.
Yeah, my personal favorite. I think, you know, without the win, I think I'd still say the same thing. Of course, that's where the game originated. I think a lot of players just truly, truly love that event. The fans are awesome. The venue's awesome. The weather's great there, and you know, on the coast, right there in late August.
And as a fully paid up glutton, I love the burgers.
I'll tell you what I found over there is the lobster rolls at a few places. They were just incredible.
I will concur with that.
Oh, the one to bobbles. Did he get another one down? The two's heading towards the pocket, and it did fall. So again, look back at that ball in hand on the 3 in the last rack from AJ MANAS as we move through these next shots and maybe more games to play in this match.
And off the break, you have to say this is the best layout that Yapp's had.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant earlier. You know, we looked at Kachi's number as a big breaker. He was at .4 ball on the break, and I just haven't seen anyone besides MANAS really be consistent with the 1. That lengthy hill game between Pagaline and Makinen. He's got to make a nice positional shot here. This is not easy. Not easy to get all the way back down for the red 3, somewhat where the cue ball's at now. Not easy to control the speed to the center of the table, which is maybe an option for the red 3. Can he overcut this, go right side rail, top rail, then the left side rail and down? No, he's cueing downward on this. Watch out for the left side. Oh, he hit it beautifully. Really good. He's going to fall a little underneath this. This is going to get a little tricky, especially when you know the nerves are going.
He wanted that cue ball to either stop or bounce, and it did neither.
And you know he wants to attack. He knows even with the snooker, any kick shot, jump shot, there could be an escape, but I don't think he's shooting. I think he's playing the 3 underneath the 7. Trying to use the 4 and the 7 for a snooker. left the kick and stick maybe, though. Curved it.
Just half of the equation, Jeremy. He kicked, but he didn't stick. I can tell you, by the way, on table 11, just this second, Coping Year spotted the 9-ball trail Bernie Regulario 8-3, so still in deep trouble.
He's going to fall behind this one, a little awkward as well. I think for him, he has a little bit of the cue ball to hit downward to where he can get to the side cushion, the top cushion, and kind of come at the 6. And again, this is where it's nice to have the 7 open. That way, if you fall a little funny on the 6, the 7's not pinned somewhere.
Sizing tendency on this kind of shot when you're playing into a semi-blind pocket is to undercut. And he's jacking up the cue as well, adding to the difficulty. That wasn't undercut, it was absolutely pinged. But that was just the pot.
Is he snookered? The ball just kind of killed. I think he may be partially snookered here. That's what happens when you go into the rail quickly. Kind of hydraulics a little bit on you, almost like a top spin is how it acts, and didn't get much bounce, and now he's snookered.
Yeah, it was such a tricky pot. I think the natural mental process is to put so much into the pot, but of course there's two sides to it.
Yeah, that's why I thought he may go to the side rail, end rail, and take a little distance on the 6, and knowing the 7's not too far away. Okay, if he makes this, watch out for the scratch cross side. May get a roll here. Your ball's going to be near the rail. From the look of things, or at least Yapp's expression, I think he does have a shot.
Let me quickly tell you, what an afternoon for Finnish pool. Joniuski beating Joshua Fuller just a moment ago. Kasper Matikainen overcoming another former world 9-ball champion in Alex Pagulayan, 9-8. All of these big names being thrust into losers qualification, and now ALOYSIUS YAPP is 4 balls from suffering the same fate. Make that 3.
Well, I really like what he did there. I know he's going to have to make a nice one on the 7, but some players may try to elevate, trying to get easier on the 7 and really sacrifice that 6 ball. He's got to thump this a bit. This can't just be kind of lightly pinched over. Yeah, I was going to say, if the nerves are going, that's the type of shot that can get away. It's going to open up. I don't think it did.
Seemed to just roll into a little indentation in the felt there. When you miss a ball like that and the table is relatively open, you assume you're going to leave it.
He's going to get some type of kick shot, I think, anyways. Yeah, could pin him kind of between the 8 and 9. Maybe a little flirty, though. Yeah, he got him right on top. So he's cut off the easy kick.
When we started the show, we did a little feature on Efren Reyes' Z shot, and the commentator said, he might miss this. Well, I'll say it, he might miss this.
all ball fouls. Yeah, he's got to go up top. So he's got to go somewhat of 3 to 4 cushions. Unless he wants to swerve. He can't get a whole lot of speed on the swerve to the right side rail. So he's going to go side rail, top rail, left side rail, and then at the 7. This will bend a bit. He's hit it. He's hit it. It's going to lay on the side cushion. What a hit. And now Yapp, he can't really play it two-way. Here's another look to where he can really protect the 7 and the cue ball. He's got to commit to one or the other, it appears. The angle doesn't lay natural to float this with some spin.
Well, that wasn't a Z shot from Manas. It was A+. Okay, he's been a little fortunate where the 7 has come to rest, but the escape itself, excellent.
And this is why pool's so hard. I mean, you just cannot practice all the shots. I mean, mathematically, there's just so many on the pool table, but gonna try and kill it, trying to contain the 7 somewhat. Beautiful speed, really good. That's like soft hands to get that control. And did it open? Did it keep coming?
I think from Aloysius Yapp's reaction, the answer is yes.
Yeah, and he's got an 8-9 combination to where that plays really natural for the 7 ball, to where he doesn't really have to do a whole lot. Just kind of naturally cut it in and come by the 8 and 9 for this 8-9 combination in the side. He's overhit this. This needs to bounce a little bit. What a shot.
Missed the 7 a moment or so ago, but making amends there. At the age of 18, the pool world is at the feet of AJ Manas.
AJ Manas wins the match.
It was only a couple of years ago
9-6.
he won the junior title at the Hanoi Open. Now he's beating stars of the game. The most recent, just a few seconds ago, Aloysius Yapp by a score of 9 racks to 6. Yapp goes to losers qualification. What a list of players involved there. As for AJ Manas, you can get the rest of the day off, young man. You're through to single elimination. Anna, over to you.